Reinvention begins the moment you make a conscious decision that who you are today does not have to define who you will become tomorrow. Most people settle into routines, habits, and patterns that make them predictable. They are known, understood, and often underestimated. Being predictable can feel safe and comfortable, but it also limits your potential, your influence, and your ability to create opportunities. To truly reinvent yourself, you must embrace change, challenge assumptions, and step into the unknown with courage. It begins with a single choice: to stop living for comfort and start living for growth and possibility. To reinvent yourself, you first need a deep understanding of who you are now. Observe your habits, reactions, and patterns of behavior. Where do you fall into predictability? Are there areas in your life, relationships, work, personal habits, where you consistently respond in ways that are expected by others? Awareness is the foundation of transformation. Until you notice where you have become predictable, you cannot consciously break free from it. Take time to examine your daily routines, thought patterns, and the ways you react to challenges. The more honest you are with yourself, the clearer your path toward reinvention becomes. Reinvention is not about abandoning who you are at your core. It is about evolving, refining, and expanding. It is about taking the raw materials of your current self, your skills, experiences, and energy, and reshaping them into a more dynamic, unpredictable version of you. This means challenging yourself to adopt habits, perspectives, and practices that stretch you beyond the familiar. It requires leaving the safety of routine behind and embracing uncertainty as a tool for growth. Every step you take outside predictability strengthens your confidence, sharpens your awareness, and builds momentum toward the person you want to become. The process starts with small, deliberate choices. Begin by shifting your thoughts. Challenge the beliefs that keep you confined to patterns. Explore new ways of thinking and seeing the world. Change your responses to situations that once triggered predictable behavior. Small changes in your daily decisions accumulate into significant transformation over time. Reinvention is not about dramatic, sudden shifts. It is about consistent, intentional action that reshapes who you are in subtle but powerful ways. Another key element of reinvention is courage. The courage to take risks and step into the unknown. Predictable behavior often feels safe because it avoids risk and discomfort. But growth and unpredictability require the willingness to try new approaches, embrace challenges, and step beyond what is familiar. Each act of courage, whether big or small, signals to your mind and the world that you are evolving. You are no longer the person others expect you to be. You are becoming someone whose actions, energy, and presence are dynamic, unexpected, and powerful. Reinvention is a journey, not a destination. It starts with awareness, intention, and small choices, and it grows with courage, curiosity, and persistence. The first step, the decision to stop being predictable, is also the most important. From this moment forward, your energy is no longer bound by habit, comfort, or expectation. It becomes a force for transformation, capable of creating a life filled with opportunity, growth, and authentic power. This is where your journey into becoming someone unpredictable begins. Being unpredictable is not about chaos or recklessness. True unpredictability comes from mastery over yourself and your circumstances. It comes from knowing your boundaries, values, and goals while remaining flexible enough to act in ways that others cannot anticipate. People who are truly unpredictable are not erratic, they are strategic. They make choices based on insight, timing, and intention rather than habit, expectation, or the approval of others. Reinvention into someone unpredictable requires cultivating this kind of self-mastery, which begins with awareness, discipline, and conscious decision-making. The first step is to examine your patterns of behavior. Identify where you're predictable. Do you always respond to conflict the same way? Do you stick to routines that others expect? Do you say what is safe instead of what is authentic? Recognizing these patterns allows you to disrupt them intentionally. You cannot become unpredictable if you are unaware of how predictable you already are. Awareness creates the opportunity for conscious change, and conscious change is the foundation of reinvention. Once you identify predictable behaviors, replace them with deliberate actions that challenge expectations. For example, instead of reacting emotionally in situations that trigger you, pause, observe, and respond with thoughtfulness. Change how you communicate, how you solve problems, and how you manage challenges. These shifts may feel small at first, but over time they create a presence that is dynamic and compelling. People will no longer be able to predict your responses, which increases your influence and strengthens your personal power. Confidence plays a central role in unpredictability. When you are secure in yourself, you no longer feel the need to conform or seek validation from others. You can take calculated risks, make decisions independently, and act in ways that surprise others while remaining aligned with your goals and values. This kind of confidence signals strength and autonomy, which naturally attracts attention, respect, and opportunity. It is the quiet power of self-assuredness that makes unpredictability feel intentional rather than chaotic. Flexibility is another essential component. Life is unpredictable, and being adaptable allows you to navigate changes with ease. Unpredictable people do not cling to rigid plans or outcomes. They flow with circumstances while staying grounded in their vision and principles. Flexibility allows you to innovate, take advantage of opportunities, and respond effectively to unexpected challenges. It turns unpredictability into a strategic advantage rather than a source of instability. Reinvention also requires patience and persistence. Transformation is a gradual process. Breaking patterns, cultivating confidence, and mastering flexibility take time and consistent effort. Each deliberate action, each small disruption of predictability builds upon the last. Over weeks and months, these choices compound, reshaping how others perceive you, and more importantly, how you perceive yourself. Ultimately, becoming unpredictable is about living intentionally. It is about moving beyond predictability while maintaining integrity, strategy, and clarity. By mastering your actions, emotions, and responses, you create a presence that commands respect and attention. You shift from being easily read and understood to being dynamic, fluid, and magnetic. This is the essence of reinvention, transforming yourself into someone whose energy, decisions, and presence are both powerful and unpredictable, making life more exciting, full of possibility, and aligned with your highest potential. A key element in reinventing yourself into someone unpredictable is embracing curiosity. Curiosity fuels growth and expands your perspective, allowing you to move beyond habitual patterns and predictable behaviors. When you consistently seek new experiences, SHI, LLS, and knowledge, you challenge yourself to think differently and act in ways that others do not anticipate. Travel, study, new hobbies, and meeting new people all contribute to the broadening of your mind. Each step into the unknown adds layers to your personality, making you less defined by others' expectations and more dynamic in your presence. Curiosity is the spark that ignites creativity and unpredictability because it encourages you to explore beyond the familiar and comfortable. Another essential aspect is emotional mastery. People who are emotionally predictable are easy to read and influence. They respond consistently to stress, praise, or conflict in ways that make them vulnerable to manipulation. To become unpredictable, you must learn to observe your emotions without being enslaved by them. Recognize when you feel triggered, anxious, or reactive, and practice responding from a place of awareness rather than habit. This does not mean suppressing your feelings. It means controlling how they are expressed. The ability to navigate your emotions thoughtfully creates an aura of unpredictability because your reactions are deliberate, measured, and difficult for others to anticipate. Detaching from old habits and limiting beliefs is also a crucial part of reinvention. Many people remain predictable because they are tied to versions of themselves shaped by past experiences. societal expectations, or fear. To truly transform, you must let go of these outdated versions and embrace a mindset of continual evolution. Accept that who you were in the past served its purpose, but it does not have to define your present or future. By releasing attachment to old narratives, you free yourself to experiment, adapt, and take risks in ways that others cannot foresee. This freedom is a cornerstone of unpredictability. Reinvention also demands a willingness to step outside of comfort zones regularly. Predictable people tend to stay within the familiar, which limits their growth and keeps their energy static. By contrast, someone who seeks discomfort strategically, whether through new experiences, challenging conversations, or unfamiliar environments, builds resilience, expands perspective, and creates a presence that is both engaging and difficult to anticipate. Each act of courage reinforces your ability to move beyond predictability and strengthens your identity as someone who is dynamic and transformative. Finally, reinvention reshapes your energy and how others perceive you. People notice subtle changes in confidence, posture, energy, and decision-making. As you cultivate curiosity, emotional mastery, and willingness to break free from the past, you radiate an unpredictable presence. Your actions become less about pleasing others and more about expressing authenticity and intention. This transformation is magnetic. Others cannot easily categorize or predict you, which commands attention, respect, and influence. Reinvention is a continuous process. The more you explore, master your emotions, and shed old constraints, the more unpredictable and dynamic you become. Each step builds on the last, creating a version of yourself that is exciting, resilient, and endlessly evolving. Through curiosity, emotional awareness, and courage, you develop the power to move fluidly through life, making choices that surprise others while staying aligned with your highest potential. The final element of reinventing yourself into someone unpredictable is cultivating consistency in evolution. Unpredictability is not about being erratic or unstable. It is about continuously evolving while maintaining clarity, purpose, and integrity. People who are truly dynamic do not rely on randomness. They rely on conscious growth. Each day, each decision, and each action is an opportunity to challenge old habits, adopt new behaviors, and expand your energy in ways that are authentic and intentional. Reinvention is a lifelong process, and the more consistent you are in your evolution, the more unpredictable and compelling you become. Consistency in evolution begins with commitment. You must commit to yourself and your growth above all else. This means refusing to settle into predictable patterns, even when they feel safe or comfortable. It means waking up each day with the intention to challenge yourself, expand your perspective, and push beyond limitations. Consistency does not require perfection. It requires persistence. Each deliberate choice to act differently, to think differently, and to feel differently compounds over time, gradually transforming your presence and your energy into something magnetic and unpredictable. Part of this transformation is maintaining a balance between control and spontaneity. While unpredictability requires a degree of surprise in your actions and decisions, it is guided by self-mastery rather than chaos. You know your values, your goals, and your boundaries, and you make choices that reflect them. At the same time, you allow yourself the flexibility to respond creatively to the unexpected, to innovate, and to explore opportunities that others might overlook. This balance between intentionality and adaptability creates a powerful dynamic, one that commands attention and inspires curiosity. Reinvention also involves embracing continuous learning. Those who remain stagnant are predictable because their perspectives, skills, and energy remain fixed. By committing to lifelong growth, whether through acquiring new knowledge, developing new skills, or seeking new experiences, you constantly expand the range of possibilities for your actions and decisions. This intellectual, emotional, and experiential growth makes you difficult to predict because your energy, perspective, and abilities are always evolving. People who invest in themselves in this way naturally cultivate unpredictability. Another critical aspect of being unpredictable is the freedom it creates. When you release the need to conform to expectations, you no longer live in the shadows of others' assumptions. You make decisions based on your desires, values, and vision, not on what is expected or anticipated. This freedom transforms your energy, making it dynamic, magnetic, and influential. Life begins to respond to this energy, bringing opportunities, relationships, and experiences that align with your evolution. Finally, becoming someone unpredictable is ultimately about empowerment. It is about taking control of your narrative, energy, and presence. It is about living intentionally and creatively while remaining fluid enough to adapt to life's twists and turns. Reinvention allows you to break free from limitations, defy expectations, and step into a version of yourself that is exciting, authentic, and magnetic. The more you embrace growth, flexibility, and self-mastery, the more your life aligns with your highest potential. Unpredictability is not a performance. It is a state of being. It is living fully, boldly, and intentionally, and it transforms every aspect of your life into a reflection of your power, creativity, and freedom.